In this verse, Arjun is asking Krishna, I'm confused about dharma. I don't know what is my dharma. Bhagavad Gita is talking about what is dharma. And we also know the famous shloka in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says he comes to establish dharma. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya. Krishna says, I come to set forth the principles of dharma. In fact, he says, I come to establish dharma. And Arjuna is asking, teach me what is my dharma. The whole Mahabharata is revolving around this topic called dharma. So what is dharma? What is this we need to understand? Prabhupada gives examples to tell us the concept of dharma. Prabhupada says the dharma of the fire is heat and light. The fire is always hot and it always luminous. It always gives us light. Nobody can separate it. You cannot separate that heat and light from fire. If heat and light is not there, then it is not called fire only. So Prabhupada gives us an example to make us understand what is dharma. Dharma is something which is natural. Dharma is something which people cannot separate it. Prabhupada also gives example of sugar. The dharma of the sugar is sweetness. When you separate sweetness from sugar, then it is no more called sugar. In fact, nobody can separate sweetness from sugar. Then Prabhupada says, what is the dharma of human beings? That's the heat and light is the dharma of fire. Sweetness is the dharma of sugar. What is the dharma of human being? Dharma of human being is love and serve. What is the dharma of human being? Loving and serving. That is our dharma. Now, let us take an example. Mother, she loves the child, or even father loves the child. Now, when you say mother and father love their child, now let us see some little detail about this, because Prabhupada says loving and serving is our dharma. When I say mother, let's say I am the mother, I love my child, it means I have all the rights to love my child. It is a right of the mother to love the child. What do you mean by rights? When I say it is my right, what does it mean? It belongs to me and nobody can stop me from doing it. That is the meaning of right. Isn't it? That is why Prabhupada says dharma is apratihata. Apratihata. Pratihata means stopping. Apratihata means unstoppable. Nobody can stop me from executing my rights. That's why it is called right. Apratihata. Loving the child is my right. I don't need anybody's permission to love my child. I don't need somebody's approval, permission, or all these things. No, it's my right. And nobody can take away my right. Nobody can come and say, you should not love your child. We'll put you into the jail. No, it is my right. And second thing is, next very interesting thing is, when I say I love my child, it is my right to love the child. Now, it is a responsibility of the mother or father to love the child. It is not just the right. It is also your responsibility to love the child. When you say love, it's my right. It is not just I love the child. No, it is also your responsibility to love the child, because if you don't love and care for the child cannot survive. So it is also your responsibility to love the child. So now I want all of you to think the difference between right and the responsibility. Right and responsibility. Right is natural to you. Right is what nobody can take away from you. Responsibility is what you have to execute. That is why Prabhupada said, loving and serving. Not just I love. No, serving is also there. And that is your responsibility. Now there is the third one. It is my right to love the child. It is my responsibility to love the child. And I'll come to the third point. First, let us understand this too. So today in the society, everybody is too much talking and debating about their rights. Right is of rights, people keep talking. They say, it is my right to eat whatever I want to eat. Who are you to tell me don't eat this, don't eat this? Isn't it? If I want, I eat whatever I want to eat. My plate, my right. What is there in my plate is my right. You, government, my community, my society should not decide. You should not eat, we will ban this food. I will eat whatever I want to eat. So, some people will say, it is my right to wear whatever dress I want to wear. Who are you to tell me this dress you don't wear, that dress you don't wear? Who are you to impose the dress code on us? It is my right. My body, my right. Or people will say, I'll do whatever I want to do with my body. Who are you to come and tell me do this, don't do this? My right. Isn't it? So if you see, there is a lot of discussion and demand, fight for rights. But what we do not understand is that rights is always associated with responsibility. Rights are never alone. You cannot just say it is my right. Your rights come with responsibility. When you say, no, I am not bothered about that responsibility. I'm only interested in my rights. Then what will happen? Actually, you get your right only when others execute their responsibility. We get our rights when others execute their responsibility. The child gets right to live when the mother or father execute the responsibility of taking care of the child. Otherwise, child loses its right to be even alive. If the mother doesn't feed the child, if the mother doesn't carry the child, if mother doesn't take care of the child, what will happen to the right of the child to be alive? What will happen? It just loses its rights. So the rights and responsibilities both are interconnected. When we become so much interested in claiming our rights, not bothering about the responsibilities associated with the rights, then it becomes animalistic way of life. Now, what does Mahabharata says? Mahabharata says, Ahara nidra bhayamaitunam cha pashubir eva samanya cha. Ahara nidra bhaya maituna. Mahabharata is saying, ahara, eating, is your right. Eating is your right. Nidra, sleeping is also your right. Bhaya, protecting yourself is also your right. Like you go to court and court will ask you, why did you murder somebody? You say, no, I was protecting. He was trying to attack me. To protect myself, I had to do this. The court will say, okay, fine. Self-defense is allowed. So, bhaya, you can protect yourself. That is your right. Maithuna, producing the next generation, is also your right. Ahara, nidra, bhayamaitunam cha, these are your rights. But only if you are focused on my right, then Mahabharata is saying, Pashubir eva samanya cha. This is animal standard of life. This animal standard of life. Because even animals also have rights. Animals also have rights to eat. Animals also have right to protect themselves. Animals also have right to have sex. Animals also have right to do sleep. You're also fighting everywhere, my right and all. Then what is the difference between you, human being, and animals? Mahabharata says, what is the speciality? Dharma adhika vishesha. What is adhika vishesha? Adhika means extra or superior. How are you superior to Pashu? How are you superior to animals? Vishesha means special. What is that speciality in you that makes you superior to animal? What is the speciality in you that makes you different from animals? Oh, I am fighting for my rights. Even animals also fight for their rights. Dharma adhika vishesha. It is the dharma that makes you superior to animals. Otherwise, you are all animal only. Then what is that? That means simply fighting for our rights is a animalistic level of dharma. Primitive dharma. It's a beginning of dharma. Of course, if there is a society where nobody recognizes anybody's rights, that is not even animalistic level. It is worse than animal. Everybody is bouncing on everyone. Everyone is harming everyone. That is not even proper level. So in the beginning, at least you recognize that even others have rights. But only fighting, demanding, asking for our rights is even animals have it. The Vishesha is when you have dharma. And what is that dharma that is special, that makes you special? When actually you recognize that others responsibly executing their rights gives your rights. I'll take one example. Let's say one controversial example. Okay, famous. Let's say nowadays the people say that, let's say women say, oh, I will wear whatever dress I want to wear. Who the hell are you to tell me, right? Yes, definitely it is your right to whatever dress you are wearing. Now, what is your expectation in that is, when you are claiming that it is my right to wear what dress I want to wear, you are assuming that others should do their responsibility of keeping me safe. Safety for you is the responsibility of the government, responsibility of the self-controlled men, responsibility of the mature society. That is their responsibility. You get the right of whatever dress you want to wear only when others have the responsibility to control themselves, protect you, create a safety atmosphere. Otherwise, nobody gets any rights. Our rights do not come automatically. Our rights come when others execute their responsibility, right? That means whether it is man or woman or children or whoever it is, whenever we demand any rights, do you recognize that there is a responsibility also involved in it? In the society where there is a self-controlled men, there is a safety. Otherwise, there is no safety. Or forget about self-controlled men. If there are no self-controlled men, then we are expecting the government, strict government with proper law and order, which makes sure that nobody can, do anything wrong. So that means now we are expecting the responsibility of the government. So now I come to the third point of dharma. Now dharma begins with rights. Dharma matures into responsibility. And when you recognize that I get my rights only when others are executing their responsibility, then you develop something called gratitude. When you recognize that I'm getting my rights because others are executing their responsibility, I become thankful to them. I develop something called gratitude. And this is the next level of dharma. So rights, then responsibility, and then gratitude. If you carefully see Sanatan Dharma, actually it involves all these things. Sometimes some people make criticism. They say that these foolish people, they worship tree, plant, river, earth, anything and everything they are worshipping. Actually, if you see, what is the spirit behind this Sanatan Dharma of worshipping all these things? You are actually expressing your thanks and gratitude. We are saying that I am alive because sun is doing his duty. If the sun does not rise and doesn't do whatever it has to do, I will not get my sunlight. I can't be alive. If there is no proper rain, if there is no water, if there is no, if the trees do not give me fruits or grains, I can't even have my rights to be alive. So because we recognize that they're all executing their responsibility and I'm just being grateful to them. And just being thankful to them. This attitude of recognizing others' contribution in the form of their responsibility is the beginning of your dharma. Gratitude is the foundation of dharma. A society which is ungrateful, a society which fights only for rights but does not bother about responsibility and gratitude is simply an animal society. It is not even a human society. You can't call it as civilized society. Civilized society means I agree I have some rights and I need those rights, but I also recognize that my rights come because others execute their responsibility. Nowadays, this children at home, they talk like this to their parents. They will say, what have you done? They'll ask the parents. Kya kiya aapne? Kya kiya aapne? You were not able to eat. That time somebody kept food in your mouth. You didn't even know that I want food. You were simply crying. At that time somebody did their responsibility. You did not know from here to there I should walk. Somebody carried you, lifted you. It is an extra weight for me. I don't have to carry, but I carried you and I lifted you and I kept you there. I did my responsibility. When you passed stool and urine, you did not know I have to clean myself. Somebody came and cleaned that. They did their responsibility. What is happening? Can you see actually when people talk like that, what is missing there? Gratitude is missing. They are not recognizing that they have worked hard. They have done their responsibility. This training to teach people how to see others' hard work or others' responsibility and develop gratitude is the beginning of a civilized society, and that's called dharma. That's called dharma. Where the society thinks, for my happiness, for my enjoyment, I don't care for others' rights and responsibility. All that matters to me is my happiness. Like you ask people, why do you eat chicken? Oh, bahut acha lagta hai. Oh, acha swad milta hai. Means all that matters to you is just your own happiness. That's all. Like this uncivilized children, they talk to their parents like that. They say, and when parents say that, so much we have done, they say, wow, you have done your rights. It was your responsibility to do. What's big deal it is there? It is your responsibility to send me to school, you sent me. It is your responsibility to cook, you cooked me. You cooked for me. What have you done? Actually, you take other executing responsibility for granted. What do you mean by granted? In the granted, there is no gratitude. When you take others' responsibility for granted, you will not develop any gratitude. And people also ask, did I ask you to give birth to me? You gave birth. So that's why you sent me to school. That's why you did all those things to me. Just see what is happening. There is no gratitude. Do you think, is there a nice atmosphere in that place? Will you be happy if somebody talks to you like that? It is very simple. We are not talking here Hindu religion, Islam religion, Christian religion, Dharma. We are talking what is Dharma. It's a universal Dharma. In the universe, everybody deserves certain rights, and your rights become valid only when others execute their responsibility, and when you recognize that others have done their responsibility, I am getting my rights, being grateful to that, thankful to that is the beginning of Dharma. And the gratitude should lead to not just ends at the gratitude level. Thank you, enough. No, it should lead to loving that person. The gratitude should mature into love. What do you mean by love? What is the difference between being grateful and loving? What do you mean? What is the difference between I'm being grateful to you and I love you? There's a difference. It's not the same. When I say, oh, I'm so grateful to you. When I say, I love you. Because I realize that I'm so grateful to you, that should lead me to love you. And what is the difference between these two stages?
So when you love, you serve them.
Yes. When I am grateful to you, I'm just recognizing. I'm not doing anything in return. Oh yeah, I'm so nice. Yes, you've done a lot of. Thank you. That is not enough. That's a beginning. But love is ultimate. When I recognize that you have done so much for me, when you have, done so nice your responsibility and all, when I feel love for you, that means now I want to serve you. That is why Srila Prabhupada says, Dharma means loving and serving. But before love, what has to come? Gratitude has to come. Before gratitude, what has to come? Responsibility. If you separate responsibility, separate gratitude, separate love, what is remaining? Rights. ये मेरा हक है. क्या हक है आपका? You say, ये मेरा हक है कि मैं कुछ भी बात कर सकता हूँ, मैं कुछ भी खा सकता हूँ, कुछ भी पहन सकता हूँ. Yes, you can eat. It's your right to eat only if your mother cooks. Otherwise, what will you eat? Rights always come when somebody executes the responsibility. We are not independent. We are interdependent. In the interdependency, your rights come because of others' responsibility. That's why the beginning is to recognize how the nature is contributing to you and being thankful and grateful to you. That's a beginning religion. It's a primitive. That's why all around the world, whether you go to forest, aborigines, you see some sort of nature worship you will find. Some sort of nature worship. Because the human beings have that. To recognize, I have not done all these things. I have received it. And being thankful to it, being grateful to it. Even in even in forest tribes, you can find being grateful to for trees, being grateful to earth, being grateful to river, being grateful to sun, moon. Isn't it? So, when Krishna says, I come to establish Dharma, but Arjun says, I'm not understanding. Now actually, Arjun is only speaking about his rights. In the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjun speaks about his rights. He says, because it is my right to fight, now I decide I will not fight. Or it is my right to enjoy this kingdom, property, so I give up my right. I don't want to enjoy this, let them only keep. But what he is forgetting is his responsibility. You have to execute your responsibility. As a Kshatriya, you have a responsibility to establish Dharma. Isn't it? And you should be grateful. And at last Krishna says, out of love, manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Dadami priti purvakam, out of love also you should do. So Krishna establishes all the four. Rights, responsibilities, gratitude, and out of love. When all these fours are there, that's a complete religion. A religion, Prabhupada says, a religion that does not teach you how to love, it is a bogus religion. It is a pseudo-religion. Srimad Bhagavatam begins by saying this. Dharma projita kaitavotra paramanirmatsaranam satam. Kick that religion which does not teach you how to love. Simply that teaches you my rights, my rights, my rights. It's not a religion. It's another kind of animal life. So today what is happening? All the so-called education is teaching everybody to fight for their rights. There's nothing wrong in it. It's very good. We should all know what are our rights and we should demand our rights. There's nothing wrong in it. But if the society stops only at a right level, then you will only see fights everywhere. Because everybody is fighting for. Today the justice has become all about establishing my right. Justice doesn't talk about responsibility at all. Everybody goes to court and says, this is my right, this is my right. Please tell me, yes, this is my right. This is my right to do. This is my right to go. This is my right to do. Yeah, everybody is rushing to the court and justice system asking for rights. Is anybody who is bothered about responsibility? Because responsibility means it is connected to seva. Like people say, sometimes we go out and see so much garbage and dirty roads or dirty city. They say, see government, they say it is my right to have a clean city. So that means it is government's responsibility to keep the city clean. When you say it is your right to have a clean city, you are saying it is somebody else's responsibility. Isn't it? Don't you see that you also have some responsibility? Yes, government will appoint municipality people to come clean and all that they will do. You also have a responsibility. What is that your responsibility? Can anybody tell me? When it comes to cleanliness, what is your responsibility? Don't throw garbage. Don't throw garbage. Put the garbage wherever in the dustbin is there. That's your responsibility. That is not government responsibility. Government cannot appoint one person always behind you to collect the garbage from you. They are doing their responsibility. Now what is happening? Because people are not educated about their responsibility. They are not doing their responsibility. That is why it's a big failure. There is no cleanliness anywhere. The cleanliness is possible when government does their responsibility and you do your responsibility. Actually, when you don't throw the garbage, 99% city will be clean. That means we all have to realize and recognize that I also have responsibility. That's a part of Dharma. A Dharma that doesn't teach you responsibility is not Dharma. A Dharma which simply talks about rights is not Dharma at all. It is simply talking some animal lifestyle. Animal is also fighting for food. Animal is also fighting for its protection. You are also fighting. They are fighting in the forest. You are fighting in the court. That's the only difference. What is the difference between you and animal? Dharma, adhika vishesha. The adhika vishesha, that extra speciality is Dharma. What is that? Responsibility, gratitude and love, which is followed by service. So this is actual meaning of Dharma. Whoever teaches this, whoever teaches you, whoever follows this, they are following Dharma. Whether they are following this in America, whether they are following this in Pakistan, whether they are following this in Australia, it doesn't matter. You recognize your rights, you recognize your responsibility, you be grateful, and you learn to love and serve. You are actually following Dharma. You can give any name for it, doesn't matter. But whether your religion teach all these things. So once this reporters asked Prabhupada, should I change my religion to become Krishna conscious? Prabhupada said, no, we never ask anybody to change any religion. Because there is nothing called changing religion. Religion means this. What do you mean by changing religion? Religion means that I have to have my rights. I have to execute my responsibilities. I have to be grateful for others who are executing their responsibilities, and I have to develop love, and I have to do my service. That's all. This is the meaning of becoming God conscious. This is the creation of the God. Whether at family level, you see whether this atmosphere it exists. Do the people in your home recognize the responsibility of others? Are they grateful for that? Do they develop love for it? That means there is a dharma at family level. At national level, do citizens recognize their rights? And do they recognize their responsibility and execute their responsibility and being grateful for others executing responsibility? Do they love? Like for example, somebody say, I love my country. No, for that country, I'll give my life. Or I do my seva, something like that. That means at national level, there is a dharma. Nobody has to change any religion for all these things. You have to develop all these things. If simply some religion says, no, my enjoyment, for my enjoyment, I can do anything. I can kill you, I can eat you, or I can keep so many people as my slaves. This is not religion. This is some polished version of some animal way of living. You understand? So, when Krishna says, I come to establish principles of religion, he comes to establish these principles. Ultimately, the completion of the real dharma is to develop that love. Like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, when you see even an ant, you should feel love for that ant. What do you mean by love? You see that even that ant or plant or tree or whatever it is also having the same rights as you. When I'm eating, sometimes I ask people, why do you eat this chicken, mutton, fish and all this thing? They say that they are meant for us only. That means what? They have no rights, is it? They have no right to live. They have no right to be alive. Only you have the right to be alive. See, what is this thinking? What is the thinking? That I have the rights to be alive. So for my rights, I can kill others. So do you think it is any kind of dharma here? It's not. When somebody thinks that I have the special privileges to take away others' rights, like that anyone, a big rowdy can also feel like this. He feels that I am a big man here, I am a rowdy here, it is my prerogative, it's my privilege. When I walk in this road, nobody should come at that time. All of you don't come. So you call him rowdy. So you are not a rowdy when you think like this, that for my taste, for my this one, I can kill anybody, I can eat however I want. Where is dharma involved in this? It is adharma. What do you mean by prasadam? Prasadam means it's a grateful food. What is that? Food. Grateful food. You see Naivedya? What are we doing in that? We are expressing our gratitude to God for arranging that for us. It is not that you are creating it. Nature is creating it by the God's arrangement. So you are recognizing it. You are recognizing God's involvement in it, recognizing nature's involvement in it and being thankful to it, being grateful to it. When you are being grateful, when you are being thankful for that, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you will not get sin for it. When you are ungrateful, you get sin. You have to suffer. Whenever you are ungrateful, whenever you don't thank, whenever you don't express your gratitude, you lose what you have. Let's imagine, you have a friend and for whom you have done a lot of things, so many things you have done. And the other person, the friend, is not at all grateful to you. He thinks it is your job to do all these things. So will you continue to do anything for that person? If there is a person for whom you are working so hard and doing everything, if you are ungrateful to that, don't recognize that person is doing all these things to you, what will you do? What will you do? Tell me. Will you continue? That means that person, because of ungrateful, losing you. Yes or no? Like that, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, when we are ungrateful, when we don't recognize the God's involvement, nature's involvement, and we think it is only my right to enjoy, it is sinful mentality. It leads to such an extent where one day you will lose everything. Like today we have lost the opportunity for clean environment. Because we think everything is for me, I can exploit. So we have lost the normal water today, nobody can drink. They'll fall sick. Why? We have polluted that water so much, we only have to now drink the purified water. The day in 25, 30 years back, people would not believe this. If you say, oh, you have to purify water and drink. Whatever comes in the tap, they used to drink. There is nothing called water purifier, RO, and Bisleri water. There was nothing like that. Just 25 years back. Whatever comes in tap water, they were drinking. Today, you can no more drink like that. Same thing will happen another 50 years. You will see you have to pay for breathing also. For everything. Why? Because we think if this nature is for me, it's my right to exploit the nature. Then you go on losing it. By being grateful to it, you will protect it. You will serve the nature. You also take care of the nature. It's called service to the nature. And then the nature will, in response, take care of you. So, Dharma means rights, responsibility, gratitude, and love. So this is the real meaning of Dharma. So, we'll stop here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.